A Dialogue 1 between Mad Mullinix and Timothy, 1728 by Jonathan Swift. Dem, I own tea's not my bread and butter, but prithee Tim, why all this clutter? Why ever in these raging fits, damning to hell the Jacobites? When if you search the kingdom round, there's hardly 20 to be found, no not among the priests and friars T twixt you, and me GDDN the liars M. The Tories are gone every man over to our illustrious house of Hanover. From all their conduct this is plain, and then TGDDN the liars again. Did not an earl but lately vote to bring in, I could cut his throat our whole accounts of public debts. M. Lord, how this frothy coxcomb frets aside T. Did not an able statesman bishop, this dangerous horrid motion dish up as popish craft, did he not rail on't? Show fire and faggot in the tale on't. Proving the earl a grand offender, and in a plot for the pretender, whose fleet tease all our friends' opinion was then embarking at Avignon M. These wrangling jars of Whig and Tory are stale, and worn as Troyton story. The wrong tease certain you were both in, and now you find you fought for nothing. Your faction, when their game was new, might want such noisy fools as you, but you, when all the show is past, resolve to stand it out the last like Martin Merrill too, gaping on not minding when the song is done. When all the bees are gone, to settle you clatter still your brazen kettle. The leaders whom you listed under have dropped their arms and seized the plunder. And when the war is past, you come to rattle in their ears your drum. And as that hateful hideous Grecian their sights three, he was your relation was more abhorred and scorned by those with whom he served than by his foes, so thou art grown the detestation of all thy party through the nation, thy peevish and perpetual teasing, with plots and Jacobites, and treason thy busy never-meaning face, thy screwed up front, thy state grimace, thy formal nods, important sneers, thy whisperings foisted in all ears, which are whatever you may think, but nonsense wrapped up in a stink, have made thy presence in a true sense to thy own side, so D&D, a nuisance that when they have you in their eye as if the devil drove they fly T. My good friend Mullinix, forbear I vow to G. too severe, if it could ever yet be known I took advice, except my own it should be yours, but DN my blood. I must pursue the public good the faction is it not notorious for keck, at the memory of glorious 5 Ts, true, nor need I to be told my quondam friends are grown so cold, that scarce a creature can be found to prance with me his statue round. The public safety I foresee henceforth depends alone on me, and while this vital breath I blow or from above, or from below ill sputter swagger curse, and rail the Tories' terror scourge, and flail Tim, you mistake the matter, quite the Tories you are their delight, and should you act a different part, be grave and wise, 'twould break their heart. Why, Tim, you have a taste, you know, and often see a puppet show, observe the audience is in pain, while Punch is hid behind the scene, but when they hear his rusty voice, with what impatience they rejoice. And then, they value not 2 straws how Solomon decides the cause, which the true mother which pretender, nor listen to the witch of Endor. Should Faustus with the devil behind him enter the stage, they never mind him if Punch to stir their fancy shows in at the door his monstrous nose, then sudden draws it back again. Oh, what a pleasure mixed with pain. You every moment think an age till he appears upon the stage, and first his bum you see him clap upon the Queen of Sheba's lap. The Duke of Lorraine drew his sword, Punch roaring ran, and running, roared, reviled all people in his jargon, and sold the King of Spain a bargain cent. George himself he plays the wagon, and mounts astride upon the dragon, he gets 1,000 thumps and kicks, yet cannot leave his roguish tricks in every action, thrusts his nose the reason why no mortal knows in doleful scenes that break our heart. Punch comes like you, and lets a fart. There's not a puppet made of wood, but what would hang him if they could, while teasing all by all he's teased, how well are the spectators pleased. Who in the motion 6 have no share, but purely come to hear and stare, have no concern for Sabra's sake, which gets the better saint or snake, provided Punch, for there's the jest be soundly mauled, and plague the rest. Thus Tim philosophers suppose the world consists of puppet shows where petulant conceited fellows perform the part of Punchinellos, so at this booth, which we call Dublin, Tim, thou'rt the Punch to stir up trouble and you wriggle fidge, and make a rout, put all your brother puppets out, run on, in a perpetual round, to tease, perplex, disturb, confound, intrude with monkey grin, and clatter to interrupt all serious matter, are grown the nuisance of your clan who hate and scorn you to a man. But then the lookerson, the Tories, you still divert with merry stories. They would consent that all the crew were hanged before they'd part with you. But tell me, Tim, upon the spot, by all this toil, what hast thou got? If Tories must have all the sport, I fear you'll be disgraced at court T. Got DN my blood, I frank my letters, walk to my place before my betters. And simple as I now stand here, expect in time to be a peer, got DN me why I got my will. Near hold my peace, and near stand still I fart with 20 ladies, by they call me beast, and what care I? I bravely call the Tories jacks, and sons of horse behind their backs. But could you bring me once to think that when I strut and stare and stink revile, and slander fume, and storm betray, make oath impeach inform with such a constant loyal zeal, to serve myself and commonweal, and fret the Tory souls to death I did, but lose my precious breath. And when I damn my soul to plague as you tell me, but their may game consume my vitals, they shall know I am not to be treated, so id rather hang myself by half than give those rascals cause to laugh. But how, my friend, can I endure once so renowned to live obscure? No little boys and girls to cry there's nimble Tim, a passing by. No more, my dear delightful, way tread of keeping up a party hatred. Will none the Tory dogs pursue, when through the streets I cry halloo? Must all my DN me's bloods and wounds pass only now for empty sounds? Shall Tory rascals be elected, although I swear them disaffected? And when I roar a plot, will our own party mind me not? So qualified to swear and lie, will they not trust me for a spy? Dear MULLINIX, your good advice, I beg you see the case is nice. Oh, were I equal in renown like thee, to please this thankless town. Or blessed with such engaging parts, to win the truant schoolboys' hearts. Thy virtues meet their just reward attended by the sable guard. Charmed by thy voice, the prentice drops the snowball destined at thy chops, thy graceful steps and kernels, ere allure the cinder-picking fair no more in mark of true affection. I take thee under my protection, your parts are good teas, not denied, I wish they had been well applied. But now observe my counsel, viz., adapt your habit to your phiz. You must no longer thus equip ye, as Horace says optet effipia. There's Latin too, that you may see how much improved by doctor. I have a coat at home, that you may try teas just like this which hangs by. Geometry my hat has much the nicer ere your block will fit it to a hair. That wig I would not for the world have it so formal, and so curled 'twill be so oily, and so sleek when I have lain in it. A weak yowl find it well prepared to take the figure of toupee and snake. Thus dressed alike from top to toe, that which is which 'tis hard to know. When first in public we appear ill, lead the van, keep you the rear, be careful, as you walk behind, use all the talents of your mind. Be studious well to imitate my portly motion mean, and gait mark my address, and learn my style, when to look scornful, when to smile, nor sputter out your oaths so fast, but keep your swearing to the last. Then, at our leisure well be witty, and in the streets divert the city, the ladies from the windows gaping, the children, all our motions aping. Your conversation to refine, ill, take you to some friends of mine, choice spirits, who employ their parts to mend the world by useful arts, some cleansing hollow tubes to spy direct the zenith of the sky, some have the city in their care from noxious steams to purge the air, some teach us in these dangerous days how to walk upright in our ways, some, whose reforming hands engage to lash the lewdness of the age, some for the public service go perpetual envoys to and fro, whose able heads support the weight of 20 ministers of state. We scorn for want of talk to jabber of parties o'er our bonnet clabber, nor are we studious to inquire who votes for manners, who for hire our care, is to improve the mind with what concerns all humankind, the various scenes of mortal life, who beats her husband, who his wife, or how the bully at a stroke knocked down the boy, the lantern broke. One tells the rise of cheese and oatmeal, another, when he got a hot meal, one gives advice in proverbs old, instructs us how to tame a scold, one shows how bravely Audouin died, and at the gallows all denied how by the almanac 'tis clear that herrings will be cheap this year. Dear MULLINIX, I now lament my precious time, so long misspent, by nature meant for nobler ends. Oh, introduce me to your friends, for whom by birth I was designed, till politics debased my mind. I give myself entire to you, GDDN, the Whigs and Tories too. Footnote 1. This is a severe satire upon Richard Tighe-esque, whom the Dean regarded as the officious informer against Sheridan, in the matter of the choice of a text for the accession of George I. Swift, had faithfully promised to revenge the cause of his friend, and has certainly fully redeemed his pledge in this. And the following Pasquinades, Mad MULLINIX or Molyneux, was a sort of crazy beggar, a Tory politician in his madness, who haunted the streets of Dublin about this time in a paper subscribed Dr. Anthony, apparently a mountebank of somewhat the same description. The doctor is made to vindicate his loyalty and regard for the present constitution in church and state, by declaring that he always acted contrary to the politics of Captain John Molyneux, The immediate occasion for publication is assigned in the Intelligencer, in which paper the dialogue first appeared. Scott, having lately had an account that a certain person of some distinction swore in a public coffee house that party should never die while he lived, although it has been the endeavor of the best and wisest among us to abolish the ridiculous appellations of Whig and Tory, and entirely to turn our thoughts to the good of our prince and constitution in church, and state I hope those who are well-wishers to our country will think my labor not ill bestowed in giving this gentleman's principles the proper embellishments which they deserve, and since Mad MULLINIX is the only Tory now remaining who dares own himself to be so, I hope I may not be censured by those of his party for making him hold a dialogue with one of less consequence on the other side. I shall not venture so far as to give the Christian nickname of the person chiefly concerned, lest I should give offense, for which reason I shall call him Timothy, and leave the rest to the conjecture of the world intelligencer. No Roman 8c. An account of this paper in prose works Roman 9 311, W.E.B. Footnote 2. Sir Martin Merrill, one of Dryden's most successful comedies. See Malone's Life of Dryden p. 93, W.E.B. Footnote 3. Ilias Lib Roman 2 211, Sec. W.E.B. Footnote 4. To reach at vomiting. Footnote 5. King William Roman 3. Footnote 6. Old word for a puppet show. Scott,